direct. So we are going to start with the count of 3, 2, 1, action.
Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to Elgon View Review. This is an interactive talk show that brings prominent people and persons who have made a remarkable achievement to humanity and brings you the motivation behind their achievements and a session of 1 to 1. We are live from
action.
Elgon View. Good afternoon, College House, broadcasting from Eldoret at Olu Street. Today, in our maiden show, we are privileged to have the Executive Director of Elgon View Group of Colleges, Mr. Peter Anasi. Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, the viewers. My name is Peter Anasi, the Executive Director of Elgon View Group of Colleges.
Thank you, and I will be your host, Jerome Ugola. Viewers can catch up with us live from viewers and welcome to Elgon View Review. Of course, this is an interactive talk show that brings now, Mr. Director, before we even commence this debate, probably we will wade straight into a raging issue of the male Vice Chancellor who was expelled from the university, on what the Senate described as incompetence, but what pundits opined that it could be his political incorrectness. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I saw this in the news this morning. I was surprised when I also saw that the students of the university were in the streets protesting about this expulsion or this dismissal. I really would not have an opinion until I understood the reasons from the University Council why they have done that. I just want to believe that the reasons will not be tribal, the reasons will not be ethnic, the reasons will be purely on professional grounds. If the reasons for its expulsion are based entirely on professional grounds, then of course I will not have any defense or I am not defending. But if they are based on other factors outside the professionalism, then of course I would definitely condemn that kind of removal from the university, because I know most of these chancellors are appointed for 5 years. And I don't know how long he has been there. If I knew how long, maybe I would comment further. But for now, I have already given my reasons that I really do not know why they did so. But if it is on any other ground except incompetence, then that will be wrong.
Thank you. In a sense, you're saying that you have, unfortunately, he's being expelled for reasons of ethnicity, but if it has anything to do with his competence, then it is justified. Now let's come back to our college. This is a prime institution of learning in this region. This is one institution which has nurtured thousands and thousands of skilled workforce in this country for over the years. Maybe you would wish to know what inspired you to create this college which has been in existence for over 4 decades now.
Well, personally, I was motivated from the point of view of training the young people to join our industry and public service. I love the young people. I would like to see their progress educationally and otherwise. So the main reason why I started this college, and it was the first college in Northrift, which we started in 1978. Moi University was not here, Lord University was not here, and many other universities were not here. Possibly the only institution that was here would be Lord Polytechnic. So basically what motivated me is the number of students who were looking for places for middle level courses training. And I thought that's what I would offer.
Thank you. That was indeed a bold step. And we know that institutions come up, and you've just told us that Elgon View has no age, maybe except for the Polytechnic. But then there could be some deliberate interventions or measures that you did put in place that has ensured that this college has withstood turbulent times and turbulent weeks over the years and survived for all this long. What are the secrets to the survival or to the long life?
Definitely, there are very good reasons. True, I have seen colleges come and go, if not hundreds of them, thousands of them here in this particular city for the last 45 years. Now, what has made our college stand the storms of competition is giving quality education. Number two, retention of qualified staff. Number three, a proper social environment and economic environment where young people can thrive. Good hostels, for example, we have one of the best quality hostels in this city. That's one of the things that we're missing around here. Qualifications, our pass rate is very good. Our students do very well in national examinations, and that's number one, because we have very good teachers, and number two, because of course that quality teaching is rare in some of these middle-level colleges. But my vision was, I wanted to start a quality college. And indeed, I must thank the Lord that I have succeeded in this, and that's why I've expanded. Elgonville College now having about 5 branches. I do have another branch in Kisii. I have another branch in Migori. I have a branch in Kapenguria, and also have a branch, this is the headquarters in Eldoret. So that expansion has been possible because of giving quality education and attracting more middle-level trainees.
5 branches, 5 campuses.
Yes.
Indeed, monumental.
Thank you.
Yes, and can we conclude that there are enough middle-level colleges to train the country's workforce, or there is a deficit, or that we have too many colleges in a way that they have to be reduced by way of regulation?
Education is a human rights issue, and every Kenyan is entitled to get education. There should be no limit as to the number of institutions which train. What is missing is giving quality service. Therefore, for me, it is not the number of institutions that matter. It is the number of institutions that offer quality service that sometimes is missing. But once we have quality service from those operating colleges, they can be as many as possible. After all, our population has grown from 1978, it has grown from 20 million to nearly 50 million now.
So the colleges must also grow.
They must
provide the opportunity to the population. Yes, now at least you have encountered major challenges. Major challenges in your life as an educationist. Major challenges in the essence of running the institution that is the great Elgonville that has even grown bigger than the Elgon that was named that.
There are always, in any business, there are always challenges. There's no business you can do without encountering challenges. But possibly, the major challenge we now encounter as at now is lack of government capitation, because the government has focused on their own institutions and forgotten that private institutions, particularly middle-level colleges, also need to have capitation, because these are all Kenyan students. They do the same exams. They do the same national exams. there should be no discrimination. Therefore, government should give freedom of choice as to where a student wants to train by giving all the students capitation. That's the major challenge that we have faced. The other challenge possibly are economic reasons. Most of the time, most parents are not able to meet the kind of fees that we would like to charge in middle-level colleges, particularly if they are able to access public institutions. And so, because of that, sometimes we have a shortage of enrollment. But I still feel that if the government had given capitation, that would not be a big problem. So that is another challenge I would say that faces the middle-level college. Otherwise, not many.
Indeed, it is not so right for the government to discriminate, because the essence with which an investor or an entrepreneur begins a private hospital, he inadvertently helps the government decongest the government facilities. So the same thing with college. The government should act or create policies in a way that supports these institutions as opposed to seeing them as rivals, because the end goal is to educate the entire.
You will not be more right. You are perfectly right in what you are saying. The government should not behave the way they are doing. They should not discriminate against private institutions. I'm glad at least at one stage they have decided to give capitation to universities, private universities. That's a step forward. But as at now, there is still grumbling from the government that they shouldn't even have gone that step, which means the possibility of them financing even middle-level colleges is very remote, which is extremely unfortunate.
Thank you so much. Now, several years ago, that's around 11 or even more than a decade ago, we had a new administration in place, and the then new Minister of CS for Education, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, introduced measures which drastically reduced the number of high school students or Form 4 students transitioning from Form 4 to university. For example, if you look at it statistically, you notice that out of every 100 students that begin class 1, it is only less than 10 who end up joining universities. And this number is far lower than those of countries which seek to emulate their paths to development. For example, in the USA, the transition rate is 52. In Germany, it is 70%, and in Korea, it is 52%. Did you find it a right step in calibrating the number of students joining universities, or it was a wrong step in your view as a seasoned educationist?
First of all, let me say I have already said that education is a human rights issue. And I've already said that every Kenyan should be given an opportunity to pursue knowledge and education to the highest level possible. In other words, any qualified students with a qualification to do university courses or university degrees must be given an opportunity. I do understand the limitations that the government may have in financing university education, but that should not limit the number of students going to universities. They can reduce the capitation or the money they give to the students, or they can increase the capitation so that every student who goes to university is assisted with what we call help funds. Now, the motive behind Dr. Matiang'i might have not been very bad. I think what was happening then is that we saw a time when students from very many schools were passing with flying colors. For example, during our time, it would be impossible to see 100% of students getting A's and B's. That also motivated and the government can be able to finance 50,000 students, then they should lift that level, the grade, to accommodate only those 50, but the rest should have access to other private universities, they should have access for overseas scholarships, and they should have access to education. But for the government to come up with that regulation, many a time one would say it is not wrong because they cannot finance everything. True, they cannot. The government is also limited in terms of funds, and therefore they can only finance those that they can manage.
The next question is almost an annex of the question which you just asked. This one says, we have a new CS in the education sector, and he has been blowing hoods and cold over land competition to university students. He has also been blowing hoods and cold, not just over government sponsorship, but over funding for universities and other money is like help, etc., and increment of school fees. 16,000 to 14,000. If this happens, are we right to conclude that it will have made education affordable just to a few communities?
That is unfortunate. Those kind of utterances of not supporting university education is absolutely unfortunate. This country still needs human resource. They need engineers. They need lawyers, they need doctors, and therefore there is no reason why the government should think that they should not finance education, because if they say they can't finance education, then most of the students who come from poor families will never have access to education. And that again will be a human rights issue, because every student in Kenya must have access to education. Although they have those limitations, the issue of completely cutting the funding for university education is wrong. In any event, most of our politicians on their platforms, they have always campaigned on a platform of free universal education. When are they going to make it a reality? If a new government comes on and starts threatening that they will not do this, when is this going to be a reality? We don't want to be cheated. We want to be sure that any serious government coming to power has got the interests of Kenyans at heart, and more particularly education, because an educated society is much better than an educated society which has very few educated people. So let everybody get education. Even if there will be no jobs, at least an educated person will have to find a way of supporting himself. He will have to be innovative. Some of our lecturers and professors are now lecturing all over the world. There are those opportunities. I've been to Australia, and I know that there are a lot of opportunities for young people to go there and study and they even get jobs. I've been to America, the same thing is happening in Europe and everywhere. So those opportunities in South Africa and all these countries, there are opportunities everywhere. And our students, once educated, can go anywhere. They can even go to China, anywhere and work.
Yes, some 173,000 students out of the ECC last year, and there has been information that the government could be absorbing only 90,000, that is leaving around 80,000 or 83,000 C classes outside there. Do the current private universities have the capacity of offering new programs to these students as an insider?
Many of them may have an opportunity to offer, but the issue is they have sufficient facilities to accommodate all those students who would like to join those universities. Now, number one, the public universities may not be able to consume all those students who have got a qualification in university education. But private universities, I'm sure, are ready and willing to accommodate these students. The question is, will the students be able to meet the expense of private universities? That's the major question. Although they are willing, They are willing to absorb the rest of the students. And you know, during the era of parallel programs, those students who were not offered opportunities in universities, they were still absorbed alongside the other government students in public universities. And they got same education and they got same everything, and that was not bad at all. And that means even these public universities, if allowed, by the way, if allowed, and on payment of fees, they can absorb all those who are able to pay the fees. So the question here will be, how about those who can afford?
That one will be very unfortunate. Then last year, there have been suggestions that students rethink their curriculum in conformity to curriculum-based education and training. Was this a move in the right direction? And is LW being an epical of college education in the region? Is it competency-based education compliant?
The competence education programs is a new creature in Kenya. They have started with primary schools. They have started with preschools, coming to primary schools, and then now we have junior secondary, where that program is being offered. But the training, the people we are training us at now, are all former Form 4 leavers. Their curriculum was different from the competent-based program. So until and unless those who will be qualifying after Form 4 have gone, after going up to Form 4, until and unless the middle-level colleges would have given a new syllabus to teach those people courses and training courses that are based on curriculum-based competence, it will not be possible for us to go that line. It is not possible for us to go that direction. For example, now, because we don't have the syllabus, we don't have the curriculum for content-based. We are still on the old system until such time that the government rethinks about, not even rethinks, plans to change the curriculum. And you know, this cannot be done overnight. Even if they did it today, which students will join this level college? They are not there yet. It's up to when, after Form 4 level, when they leave the Form 4 level, that they will join these middle level training schools. And that's when we will need to have already sufficient curriculum for that kind of people.
Thank you. Now, with your expertise in matters education, were there glaring inadequacies that needed to be addressed in the old or now refined educational system? And the second part of the question is, does the new system, which is 2663, address the shortfalls of 844 if there were any?
Yes. My answer would be yes. I have compared the education system, for example, in Australia. I have looked at the education system in Britain. I have looked at the education system in USA. All of them are on that line of competent education curriculum. Now, the glaring issues that were being met by 844 system is what we call prescribing or producing of students who cannot be competent in their own way in the development of this country's industry, public service, and so on. We were developing people who were not competent to run some of these practical areas of our industry, engineering, whatever. And so my take here is that this curriculum is a good curriculum. And you know, when you train a child from the very beginning to use his hands and think, critically, then you are molding an educationist who will even be inventive and who will come with his innovation to try and do things in his life that will help him. So this curriculum-based this particular curriculum, I think is good for the country, and I know it has got its own handicaps and hitches, but by and large, it is a good curriculum, and I think it should be there. Because in the old system, we were used to cramming. I went through the old system. So long as you were good in cramming history, you were good in whatever geography, you cramming all those facts, you are fine. But now come out, you find you are using very little history, you are using very little geography. By the way, there was a time I went through Netherlands, and I was there talking to some people, and about education, and I asked them, when I told them I come from Africa, they asked me, you are from Africa, South Africa? In other words, they know nothing about Africa except South Africa. Meaning, of course, they didn't know anything about geography. So geography was good. It makes you aware of your environment in the world. History was good because it gives you an insight of how human beings have developed, improved, and come to this stage. Those are good, but we need more practical-oriented subjects to equip our people with the skills that in future they will get jobs. Because if you don't have special skills, you may not be able to get jobs in future.
Correct, and probably the nation may also have to understand that infancy is always associated with some kind of teething problems. So CBC may be facing 1, 2, 3 challenges in its implementation, but these challenges definitely we will outgrow them.
Definitely. I mean, we cannot condemn CBC just because of these infancy problems. They are there. Anything new must have its teething problems. But I believe by time, this program will be realized to be a good program, and it will be executed good.
Then Mr. Director, COVID came and went. It hammered our economy and left some marks, but we believe the economy is either fully recovered or will start recovering. Did this thing leave a major dent or scar in the face of inflation, specifically in institutions?
It did. By the way, the year 2020, we hardly admitted a student. The whole of that year. In fact, we closed down in April. We opened in January. Because that was during COVID, we could not come to school, students could not travel to come to school, and therefore we lost a year, to be more precise. We lost a year, and it has been very difficult to recover. Because even after COVID, there are still challenges that have faced people, the economic challenges that followed that COVID problem are still here with us, and they will take quite a long time before we recover. I see towards the end of 2021, we were just about to see some little recovery, but this year is worse. The drought that has come this year, the economic restriction, the hustlers' problems here. There are so many problems right now, and I think there is a lot of famine in the country. There is no food in the country, and therefore, I don't think we are. Although we were trying to recover, I don't think we have made us fully recovered from COVID. We still have those issues following us.
Now we are approaching the end of this issue. But first, we remind you the grasp of the history of Eldoret. By the way, Eldoret was the first black mayor of the town in 1963.
That's right.
But in the pre-independence period, it was known that Highland School, which later mutated into Moi Girls, was providing education to the children of the British. And Hill School was providing education to the children of the Boers, who were basically the founders of this town. and the Asian community mostly congregated at Western English Secondary School. And the children of Africans either stayed at home to provide labor to this, or they attended some other schools, small schools. Is it correct to say that a child of Eldoret today has equal opportunity?
Not exactly. I want to agree with you that there was some segregation during the colonial period. Who doesn't know that? Our African people were not given opportunity to go to school. In actual fact, most of them were picked to go to coffee plantations, to go to tea plantations, to make rich the farmers that had come from overseas. So here in Eldoret, it is true. We had only 2 key schools, 3. That's true. We had Islands, we had a Hill School, we had Western Issue. And it is true. The only kids that attended those schools were from those selected areas. Until very late in 1963, if my recollection goes well, about 64, 65, when we got independence. That's when kids started going to these schools. I remember when I did my O-levels from Kisii, and at that time it was 1963, and the scholarships had been advertised by those white schools where Africans never went. And I managed to do extremely well, and I was given a scholarship to go to Nairobi. So I dressed up and went to Nairobi School with my box. When I reached there, and when the principal saw me, he asked me one first question, what is your age? I said, I'm about 15 years old. He said, sorry, we have a limit of scholarships only up to 13 years. Who were there in the field? White children only, and possibly a few Asians there. And then I realized that in this country, there was a time that schools were set aside for certain people. So I agree with you that that segregation left people behind. They left the farm students for farmer children, for farmers in this region very behind. But I am happy that they are catching up extremely well.
Yes, maybe just to make a comment on your academic progress, it is well visible. Having trained as a solicitor, then transitioned to make a name as an educationist. I've also heard you talk about your travels to Netherlands and Australia. Maybe you tell us a bit about how traveled you are, because it is also known that the more somebody travels, the more he sees the world and changes his views and how he manages his affairs.
Yeah, truly, I like traveling. It's my hobby. And I can tell you several countries that I've traveled to. I've traveled to Australia, I've traveled to India, I've gone to China, I've gone to Netherlands, the UK, America, and many others. I like traveling when I'm given an opportunity or when I have resources. When you travel out there, your knowledge is widened. Your exposure exposes you to many things that you can do differently when you come back home. And so, yes, I am very well traveled, and we love traveling with my family. And so my traveling has paid some dividends, because I have imported a lot of traditions from the way people do business over there to my institution.
Oh, thank you. And I've also seen you with some documents. Maybe you will tell us something. Somebody is watching you from around Eldoret, around Rift Valley, around Kenya, and we have a special message for him.
Yeah, I would like to briefly narrate the kind of courses we offer in this institution, because that's what the student out there is interested in. We have several schools. For example, we have a School of Business, Economics and Human Resource. We also have a School of Agriculture. We have a School of Journalism and Mass Communication, which is this one here. You can see how perfect it is and how good it is. And we have many other schools. School of Accountancy, we have School of Education, and we also train skills which are important. And these skills are things like plumbing, carpentry, electrical installation, and catering and hospitality, and many others. So we have a school of hospitality, catering, and all these schools have offered different courses. And in total, our college has a total of 64 different courses. And every school has got its own courses. In other words, we offer a variety of courses which any student from the Republic of Kenya cannot miss get here. And so we are nearly universal in terms of how many courses we offer and in terms of quality. So that's all I would like to say and tell the Kenyans that this is a college of your choice. It is a college that has been here for 45, going to 45 years now. And therefore, it is here to stay. And we have actually generated over or nearly 60,000 professionals who are working in all these institutions around here. You go to Eldoret County, you go to Wasilishu County, Nandi County, Marakwet County, you go to Moi University, Eldoret. You get all types of professionals who are trained with us here. And I think we have definitely produced and we have made a big contribution to this country in terms of manpower development.
That is a great one. This is the last question as an annex to this interview. Where do you see Elgonview in the next 1 decade or so?
Well, I see Elgonview still running, unless there are interventions which will come around that will be inevitable. So I see Elgonview here to stay. And I see Elgonview doing even better in terms of quality training, in terms of human resource development, in terms of contribution to the nation. And I'm only praying that this government or our government will somehow also take time to see how they can support middle-level colleges, particularly those colleges which are very well established and are doing very well. They should be supported, like they are now supporting private universities. So I can see, I have been here for 45 years running this institution, and I can see it many years to come. I can see that it will still be around here, and that's my prayer.
Thank you so much, viewers, for being with us. We have had a privilege of hosting the Executive Director of Elgonview Group of Colleges, Mr. Peter Anasi, who was trained as a solicitor but made a name as an educationist. He is the founder of Elgonview. This is a college which has offered training to more than 60,000 Kenyans in different grounds. You can visit us on our Facebook page. You can also click the bell on our YouTube channel and catch us live. Thank you so much. I've been your host, Jerome Ogola. We are live from Elgonview College, that is College House in the heart of Eldoret town.
Much appreciation. Thank you.